Hey, what's going on, chess lovers? Good evening. I wanted to share with y'all a game that um Levon Aronian played against I can never say his name right. Viswanathan. All I know is Anand, Grandmaster Anand. The Indian Grandmaster. But yeah, Aronian versus Anand. They played in the Tata Still tournament in 2013. Aronian was playing as white and Anand was playing as black. So without further ado, actually let's get started with this. Very interesting game, I might say. Um, Aronian played d4, Anand played d5, c4. Uh, he played c6, knight f3. This is pretty much like the Slav defense, the modern line. Knight f6, knight c3, e6. This is pretty much all book. Knight b7, bishop d3, d captures c4, bishop captures c4, then b5. As you can see, black is going to control this c4 square. Bishop d3, bishop d6. They both castles. Queen c2, bishop b7, a3 to prevent the b4 push, and then rook a c8, trying to get the c file, especially since the queen is right there, and knight g5. Now, this is when I really thought. I honestly I can't really tell y'all why he didn't play it. That's why I have this arrow right here that bishop catches a2. I'm not sure why he didn't take it. It's like when I first saw this, I knew this automatically, like knight g5 can't be right unless I'm missing something. But after bishop catches a2, he takes knight g4, king g1, then queen catches g5. Now I do understand after this move, after queen catches g5. I was also kind of wondering why not the bishop catches h7. I wasn't really sure about that because after king h8, if he came, probably because if he came back, to be honest with you, now that I think about it, that probably wouldn't be the best move because if he goes back, then yeah, black will have this move, rook e1 or maybe rook d1, and then maybe f5 could be a good move to play. Uh, yeah, I think black actually, that bishop catches a7 point wouldn't really mean a thing. As you can see, black has a really good, solid position after queen h2. Maybe once he get his knights in the game and everything, I think black would be okay with that. So, but yeah, I always thought bishop catches h2 was would have been a good move, but obviously this didn't happen. Anand actually played c5, ignoring the bishop catches h2. So then he lets Aronian plays knight catches a7. And then after knight catches a7, knight g4, which is a very good move, knight g4. Especially since he still got bishop catches a7 or h2 check. And then black also has this nice queen h4 maneuver as well. And then look at his bishop, the dark square bishop and the light square bishop. That light square bishop is pretty deadly. So that's pretty crazy. Um, F4 was actually played. F4 was played. If you would have went to like pawn h3, I think maybe Aronian didn't like the pawn h3 thing because little maneuvers like bishop captures h2, and if king h1, queen h4 comes in the game. And as you see, this light square bishop is also here too, so black could potentially take on queen catches h3, and then of course black also has threats like knight catches on f2. Obviously not right now because the bishop is still on h2, but later on, black will have threats like that. So it's kind of crazy though. So I don't think Aronian was a fan of um, these type of maneuvers that black would have did on him. So that's why he played f4, I believe. C catches d4, E catches d4, then bishop c5. So guys, what happened if I don't know, because obviously Aronian plays bishop b2, But you're probably wondering what happens if d catches c5. Well, if d catches c5, then knight catches c5. And as you can see, the knight is about to capture the bishop, the light square bishop, and so is the queen. But if I don't know, let's say bishop e2. If bishop e2 comes in, then Anand has this threat on queen d4. And as you can see, this dark square bishop is pretty much trying to prevent a checkmate. But let's say he doesn't go bishop e3. Let's say he goes king h1. Knight captures or knight f2 check, and then if rook captures, then queen captures. And as you can see in this position, there is no there's no way to stop queen captures g2 mate. Or I mean, there is a way to stop the mate, but the thing is, like for instance, if he goes bishop f3, black is going to automatically win white's queen, and then black is going to actually win the game. So really, it's nothing that he can do. Even if he goes bishop f1 to try to stop it, there's no defense against that, or there's no defender on bishop f1. Black could just take, and it will be checkmate. So yeah, man. So after that, there's nothing that White can actually do in this position because he's threatening mate. So the only thing he would have to do is lose a queen, pretty much. Um, but yeah, but even if D catchers and knight captures c5, let's say White just goes knight captures f8. Black can still do the same threat. Queen d4 if king h1, then knight catches d3, and then as you see, you still got this nice bishop g2 pin on his g2 pawn, and then of course the knight is really going to threat knight f2 check. So black has some threats, and then of course this knight is about to be taken as well. So there's a lot of threats in here. All right, so Aronian goes bishop b2. Knight d e5. Again, this is just a beautiful move. As you can see, the d4 pawn cannot take on knight e5 because his bishop on c5 is pinning this d4 pawn. And obviously it's pretty much the same thing. Even if let's say d captures c5, it still works the same way with queen d4, king h1, knight f2, rook captures f2, then queen captures f2, and again, there's nothing that White can do to stop this queen captures g2 mate unless he give up if he goes bishop f3 or maybe knight d5, you know. But even when knight d5, white still or black still has bishop captures d5, still doing the same threats. So he either going to give up his queen or give up some material to stop the mate, but either way, black is going to win. Simple as that. So of course, in this position, after knight d to e5, bishop captures on g4. Bishop catches d4 with a check. King h1. Knight catches g4, threatening, as you can see, knight f2. Aronian decided to take on f8. f5 is played to prevent the queen from getting up to black's king position, and of course, to prevent the knight from going to e4. It's just a real beautiful maneuver on f5. I thought this was lovely. Anytime you start an attack, always think about your king. Make sure that your opponent can't get near your king. So moves like this, this is just a principle. You can attack, but also defend your king as well. Make a maneuver where he can't get to your king. And this is what Anand did. He stopped the queen from getting to the black's camp. You know, this was a very awesome move. Knight g6 is played, and then queen f6 is played, trying to take on the white knight. As you can see, the knight is pretty much kind of trapped. It is trapped, even though he can go knight e5, but it's not really a worthy move, especially since I think, yeah, because I think, like for instance, let me just show y'all real quick. If he goes knight e5, then black do have the threats of knight captures h2, which is bad, especially since after queen h4 is coming up next, which is why white will have to go queen f2 to stop it, giving up a queen. But this is pretty much a win for black. As you can see, the queen is trying to stop the mate because it's pretty much inevitable because the bishop on b7 is also pinning this pawn on g2, so it's not like he can block it. And then his dark square bishop is covering this g1 square. So, but the only way to stop is this queen f2 because queen h4 is coming and there's no way to stop it. So it's just crazy, man. All right, so after queen f6, h3 is played, and then queen captures g6. Just to go back, um, White don't want to take on his knight because of queen h4. I mean, for a queen h6 checkmate, because White can't go anywhere because the queen is here, and then you can't go this square because his bishop on d4 is guarding that square. So if he takes a knight, he would mate himself. All right. So White will have to go queen e2. And then, of course, black goes queen h5. The pawn can't take the knight because the queen on h5 is pinning this pawn. This g pawn can't do anything because this bishop is pinning this pawn. So there's a lot of two pins in this game. And then I also gotta say this. When you look at this pin, the queen is trying to capture on h3 with a checkmate. For instance, like if bishop d2 is played, then queen captures h3 would be checkmate because the g pawn can't take because this bishop on b7 is guarding that pawn because it's pinned. And then of course the king can't go here because of bishop d4, which is crazy. So that's why the queen d3 had to be played. You know, after queen h5, then queen d3 has to be played to guard this pawn on h3. But after this move, bishop e3 is pretty much done. There's no way that he can stop this the queen from taking the h3 pawn. Why? Because if he goes bishop captures h3, then black has queen captures h3 check, and then king g1, then queen captures g2 checkmate. The only thing that White probably could have had did he could have did he probably could have did a move like rook f3, knight f2, king h2, and again I have to show you this. If the rook captures on f2, then you have the queen captures h3 check, and then if king goes to g1, then queen captures g1 checkmate. Why does this work? Because the rook can't take this queen because the bishop on d4 is pinning this rook, which is a beautiful checkmate. That's the reason why. So that's why after knight f2, the rook can't take this knight. So the king has to go king h2, bishop captures f3, queen captures, knight g4 check, king h1, knight f2, king h2, and then queen captures f3. And after g captures f3, knight d3, and black should be he should actually win this endgame. He should definitely win this endgame. He's more coordinated, and this rook on a1 is blocked, and then this bishop really don't have too much squares to go. And then if the bishop does move, he will lose his b pawn, this b pawn, and black is good to go to win. So yes, guys, this was Aronian versus Anand. Very well played by Anand and everything. This was a very awesome game. If y'all enjoyed this video, please like, please share, please comment. And also, y'all, do not forget to subscribe. All right, y'all. Peace.